Release That Witch. Episode 3. The Witch Anna, Part 2. Roland swallowed the last slice of fried egg and wiped his mouth with a napkin.
So, after all that, what you are really afraid of is this. The Witch Cooperation Association hears she is not dead and comes running to rescue her?
Exactly, Your Highness. They broke camp in haste. They are clearly traveling somewhere. If that witch were dead, fine. But she is alive. Those madmen steal babies. They will never abandon a fallen sister.
Roland was puzzled. Something about all this felt wrong. Why did the minister's assistant and the chief knight both speak of witches as if facing a mortal enemy? The woman on the gallows was a witch, was she not? So thin a gust of wind might topple her. If she truly held terrible power, why would she stand there and let herself be slaughtered? No, she would never have been caught, at all. By the church's own teaching, she was the devil's incarnate. Any mortal army short of the Judgment Army would pay in blood to face her. Yet this devil had been seized by the folk of Bordertown, tormented relentlessly, and marched to the gallows. And that terrible power never once appeared.
How was she caught?
I heard that during the cave-in at the North Slope mine, she exposed her identity while fleeing for her life, and the enraged villagers seized her.
Roland thought it over. Yes, he had an impression of that incident. It had happened the day before he crossed over.
Exposed how?
That. I do not really know. The situation was chaos. Someone must have seen her use sorcery.
And none of you investigated something like this?
Your Highness, restoring mine production is the priority. Half of Bordertown's revenue comes from that iron ore. Besides, the prosecutor confirmed that someone at the scene did die of sorcery.
What kind of sorcery?
Roland's interest was piqued.
As if the man had melted. His head and most of his torso lay spread flat upon the ground, like a black candle burnt down to its end. Your Highness would not wish to see such a sight.
Roland toyed with the silver fork in his hand, deep in thought. In history, most victims of the witch hunts were innocents, outlets for the rage of the church and the ignorant masses. A smaller few had courted their own doom, dressing themselves in outlandish costumes, tossing strange ingredients into pots all day, claiming to foretell the future and rule over life and death. And some of them truly had figured out a trick or two, like using the flame colors of burning metals to declare they had received the power of the gods. To modern eyes, these were mere chemical parlor tricks. But in that age, they were easily exaggerated into miracles.
As for melting a man, my first thought is chromic acid solution. But that stuff is troublesome to make, the body would need full immersion, and the result looks nothing like a candle. Other strong acids fare even worse. So how did this witch do it? If she used alchemy, then she is a rare chemist in this territory, and if not, then something far more interesting is going on.
At that thought, Roland made his decision.
Take me to see her.
Wait, Your Highness, you want to go see a witch?
Barov scrambled to his feet in panic, knocking over the cup of milk he had never touched.
That is an order.
Roland glanced back at the assistant with a smile. For the first time, he was genuinely grateful for the fourth prince's unreasonable ways. At the doorway, he paused.
Right. Something I have been meaning to ask. Why hanging?
What?
Why the gallows? Shouldn't a witch be tied to a stake and burned?
Really? But she does not fear flame.
Bordertown had only one dungeon. Its barren soil could not feed many prisoners. Most who entered faced judgment within days, release, or death. Following the prince down into the dungeon were Barov, the chief knight, the warden, the jailer, and 2 guards. The dungeon had 4 levels. Its walls, all of hard granite. It was Roland's first time in such a place. He noticed that the lower they went, the narrower the passages became, and the fewer the cells. They had dug a great inverted cone of a pit, he guessed, then walled it up layer by layer with stone. Crude engineering like that came with no drainage. The ground was soaked. Foul, turbid water trickled down the stairs, step by step. The witch was held on the very bottom level. With each level they descended, the stench in the air grew heavier.
Your Highness, this is far too dangerous. Even bound by the god's punishment lock, she cannot be guaranteed harmless.
That was Carter Lannis. The moment the Chief Knight learned the prince meant to visit the witch, he had rushed over, and his protests had not stopped since. The order trick did not work on him either. He refused any command that gambled with the prince's life, and there was no sending him away.
A face like a cold, handsome god. So why is he such a chatterbox? I truly want to have his mouth sewn shut. One who dare not face evil will never find the courage to defeat it. I had thought you understood that.
Fighting evil must be measured against one's strength. Recklessness is not bravery.
In other words, against a weaker enemy you deliver justice, and against a stronger one you look the other way.
No, Your Highness, what I mean is...
First you fear witches breaking her out of jail. Now you fear meeting one little girl. My Chief Knight truly is one of a kind.
The knight talked much, but argued poorly. Against a master of verbal warfare like Roland, he had no defense. During this exchange, the party arrived at the bottom of the dungeon. It was far smaller than the levels above, only 2 cells in all. The jailer lit the torches on the wall, and as the darkness receded, Roland saw the witch curled up in the corner. It was deep autumn now. The dungeon was so cold that breath turned to white mist. He wore a fur-lined coat over silk and felt nothing. But she had only a thin shift that could not even cover her body. Her bare arms and feet were frozen bloodless. The sudden firelight made her turn away, eyes half closed. But soon, she opened them again and looked straight back. They were pale blue eyes, calm as a lake before the storm. On her face there was no fear, and no anger, and no hate. Roland had the strangest illusion that what he saw was not a frail young girl, but a shadow-devouring flame. For an instant, even the torchlight on the walls seemed to dim. She pushed herself up against the wall, slowly, as if she might fall at any moment. But in the end, she stood fully upright and staggered from the corner into the reach of the light. One simple movement, yet it made the whole party suck in a cold breath and fall back 2 steps. Only the knight darted in front of his prince.
What is your name?
Roland patted the knight's shoulder, telling him there was no need for such tension.
Anna.